Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English podcast. There are mornings when the alarm goes off, and before you even sit up, you feel the weight of the day. Emails, traffic, meetings, bills. Today, we're taking that weight apart, piece by piece, and showing you how to carry less of it.
That image, the morning weight, is useful. Stress often arrives quietly, like fog rolling over a city. You don't notice it at first, then suddenly visibility drops and everything feels harder. But fog lifts. The right approach clears it faster than you think.
We'll avoid cliches. This episode is practical. How to see stress as information, how to slow its momentum, and how to use it, not be used by it. Quick note before we start, if this episode lands for you, please subscribe and drop a comment describing the moment when stress hits you most. That helps us shape what comes next.
Good. Let's begin by understanding the shape of stress, where it comes from, what it does to the body and the mind, and why most of our default reactions make it worse.
Layla, people say I'm stressed as if it's one thing. Is it one thing or a cluster of things?
It's a cluster. Stress is a response, a biological orchestra playing when our brain senses a demand. There's acute stress, an argument, a near miss on the road, and there's chronic stress, unpaid bills, ongoing conflict, months of poor sleep. The same alarm bells sound, but the timeline and the toll differ.
So the body can't tell this is short-term from this is long-term.
Not reliably. The body reacts to perception. If your mind treats a project deadline as life or death, your system mobilizes accordingly. That's adaptive sometimes. It helps you focus. But when mobilization becomes the default state, wear sets in. Poor sleep, foggy thinking, irritability.
Hold a second. Are you saying our interpretation matters more than the event?
Often, yes. Two people can face the same meeting. One is excited, the other is tense. Their bodies react differently because their interpretation differs.
How much of modern stress is actually our brain misfiring?
A lot. Our stress systems evolved for immediate physical threats, a predator, a near miss on the road. Today, the threats are abstract and persistent. Emails, social comparisons, constant alerts. The brain treats these as threats, even though they don't require a sprint or a punch, so the response is out of sync with the reality.
Is there a simple way to spot when your stress reaction is useful and when it's just noise?
Yes. Ask, will this need a physical, immediate response? If no, if this doesn't require urgent action like moving your body, the physical alarm is probably noise. Redirect energy into planning or small steps instead of panic.
So a key skill is just asking one question?
That question creates a pause, and pause breaks automatic escalation.
Does personality make some people more stress-prone?
Personality, past experiences, and context all shape it. People with high responsibility, perfectionist tendencies, or those coming from chaotic childhoods often carry a lower threshold for stress. Not a flaw, information. If you know your threshold, you can design boundaries.
What role does sleep and routine play here? Are they just nice to have?
They're foundational. Sleep quality and daily rhythm regulate cortisol and other systems. Missed sleep is like draining a battery. Your tolerance for stress drops. Routine is the battery charger. Meal timing, wind-down rituals, consistent wake time, small things that preserve capacity.
You mean stress isn't only emotional, it's also a resource issue?
Yeah. Picture your resilience as a reservoir. Sleep and routines refill it. Chronic stress drains it slowly.
Are there surprising everyday triggers people miss?
Yes. Digital friction, constant pings, messy inboxes creates background stress. Decision overload, dozens of small choices, chips away at resilience. Even unclear expectations at work or home produce low-level anxiety that accumulates.
Okay, Layla, last one for this chapter. What's the first habit someone can use right now to catch stress early?
Two-part micro skill, the signal and the pause. Signal, name the sensation. chest tightness, grinding teeth, racing thoughts. Pause, take 3 slow, deliberate breaths, and ask the single question we talked about. Does this require immediate action? That small ritual interrupts the automatic escalation and gives space for a better response.
So naming plus a pause. Tiny but powerful.
It's short, repeatable, and it rewires your default from reaction to response.
Layla, how do we notice stress in daily life before it gets overwhelming?
Stress often starts subtly. Tight shoulders, shallow breathing, irritability over small things. Mental signs appear too. Racing thoughts, difficulty focusing, replaying conversations. If ignored, these signals accumulate until they spill over in arguments, missed deadlines, or fatigue. Think of it like a pot slowly heating. Eventually, it boils over if you don't check the temperature.
So these small signs are like a stress early warning system?
Yes, the key is paying attention. Most people only notice when it's full-blown, headaches, exhaustion, panic, but the earlier you spot it, the easier it is to intervene.
Are we saying awareness alone can prevent stress escalation?
Yes, awareness triggers choice. You can't change what you ignore. Noticing the first signs gives you the chance to respond effectively.
How does stress show up in work or school settings?
It often appears as procrastination, distraction, or indecision. When the brain feels overloaded, it can't prioritize effectively. People misinterpret their own fatigue as laziness, but it's actually a response to too much cognitive pressure.
And in relationships, can stress sneak into interactions?
Absolutely. Stress reduces patience and increases reactivity. You may snap at a partner, misread a friend's tone, or avoid communication entirely. These micro-reactions create a feedback loop. Stress triggers behavior, which triggers conflict, which increases stress.
So it's a ripple effect. One unnoticed tension leads to bigger issues.
Stress is contagious, internally and externally, if left unmanaged.
How about physical health? How soon do stress effects appear?
Even short-term stress spikes the heart rate, blood pressure, and cortisol levels. Chronic exposure contributes to fatigue, immune suppression, digestive issues, and headaches. Small, repeated stressors create a wear and tear effect over time.
Are some stressors more dangerous than others?
Not necessarily. Duration matters more than intensity. A mild but constant stressor can be more damaging than a strong but brief one. Life's small, persistent pressures, traffic, notifications, minor conflicts, quietly chip away at resilience.
Interesting. So everyday nuisances are not trivial at all.
100%. They're the hidden stress that accumulates if ignored.
How about emotional patterns? How does stress affect mood?
Stress often triggers heightened sensitivity. You may feel more irritable, anxious, or sad than usual. Over time, your brain associates stress with negative emotions, creating anticipatory anxiety, feeling stressed about being stressed. Recognizing the pattern is key to breaking it.
Layla, for listeners, what's a simple daily check-in to notice stress early?
Try the 3 signals scan. Pause 3 times a day and ask, what's my body doing? Tension, posture, breathing. What's my mind doing? Thought loops, worry, judgment. How am I feeling emotionally? Answer honestly. Even a minute of awareness interrupts automatic stress escalation.
So just 3 minutes spread throughout the day can give massive insight.
Yes, small awareness practices prevent small stress from snowballing.
Layla, we've talked about stress and how it shows up, but what's the first step to actually manage it?
The first step is recognition, then structured response. When stress hits, don't react immediately. Pause. Notice it. Identify whether it's physical, like tension or fatigue, mental, racing thoughts or indecision, or emotional, irritability, overwhelm, or worry. Categorizing stress gives clarity and prevents you from overreacting to everything at once.
So separating types of stress helps tackle it more efficiently.
Each type responds differently. Physical stress is best relieved through movement, stretching, walking, or even small posture adjustments at your desk. Mental stress responds to planning and prioritization, writing down your tasks, breaking them into small steps. Emotional stress responds to acknowledgement and reframing, recognizing your feelings, naming them, and giving yourself permission to feel without judgment.
So the key isn't suppressing stress, it's interacting with it differently, depending on the type.
Treat stress as information, not the enemy. Your brain sends signals. Something needs attention. How you respond determines whether stress escalates or dissipates.
What about micro actions during the day? Are they really effective?
Microactions are tiny interventions that reset your nervous system before stress spirals. For example, 30-second posture check, a single deep exhale, or jotting down the next 3 actions. It may seem small, but the cumulative effect is huge. Think of it as cleaning a messy desk 5 minutes at a time rather than letting it pile up for weeks.
And what's your advice for mental overload when the brain is spinning with too many tasks?
Use a brain dump. Write down every task, worry, or idea cluttering your mind. Seeing it on paper reduces the illusion that you need to remember it all. Then prioritize. Not everything is urgent or important. This simple act shifts stress from mental chaos to structured action.
You mean just writing things down actually lowers stress hormones?
Yes, research shows externalizing tasks reduces cognitive load and cortisol levels. Your brain can relax because it no longer tries to hold everything in working memory.
What about emotional stress from relationships or conflicts?
The first tool is labeling the emotion. Don't just feel frustrated, name it. I feel anxious. I feel disappointed. I feel impatient. This small act distances you from the emotion and prevents it from hijacking your behavior. Then, apply the pause-response technique. Before reacting, take 10 to 30 seconds to breathe and consider your next action. This breaks the automatic stress response loop.
Layla, are there long-term strategies for building resilience to stress?
Yes, and they're crucial. First, structure daily routines. Routines reduce decision fatigue and create predictability. Your brain loves that. Second, regular physical activity. Even short walks improve mood and energy. Third, reflection journaling. Reviewing wins, challenges, and lessons builds perspective. Over time, these habits buffer you against stress spikes.
You're saying stress management isn't only in the moment, it's about creating long-term protective structures.
Think of it like building a dam. Micro tools handle daily surges. Routines and habits prevent floods from becoming disasters.
What about mindset techniques? Can reframing really reduce stress?
Absolutely. Reframing means looking at a stressful situation and asking, what opportunity or lesson exists here? For instance, a tight deadline can become motivation to focus rather than a source of panic. It doesn't remove stress, but it changes your relationship to it, which dramatically reduces perceived intensity.
Layla, for listeners, what's one tool they can start right now that combines all these strategies?
Try the pause, plan, move protocol. 1. Pause. Notice the stress and categorize it: physical, mental, or emotional. 2. Plan. Decide one small action you can take immediately. 3. Move. Execute that action, even tiny. Stand up, write one task, speak kindly to yourself. It's simple, repeatable, and trains your brain to respond instead of react. Do this today, and your nervous system will thank you.
Listeners, if this episode has given you tools you can actually apply, take a second to subscribe, comment below with your favorite stress tool, and share it with a friend. Action is the bridge from knowledge to real-life stress control.
Lila, we've covered tools to handle stress in the moment. How do we make resilience a lasting habit?
Resilience isn't something you switch on for a single event. It's built over time. It starts with awareness routines, daily check-ins for your body, mind, and emotions. When you consistently notice tension, racing thoughts, or irritability, you learn patterns about your triggers and limits. This self-knowledge is the foundation for sustainable stress control.
So the key is consistency, not occasional effort.
Exactly. Think of resilience as a muscle. You don't lift weights once and expect to get strong. Daily habits, even small ones, accumulate, strengthening your capacity to respond to stress rather than be controlled by it.
Hold on a second. Even 5–10 minutes a day can make a difference?
Absolutely. Short, deliberate practices compound. Writing 3 reflections, doing a quick movement, or pausing to breathe can shift baseline stress levels over weeks.
What role do mindset shifts play in long-term stress resilience?
Huge role. A resilient mindset interprets stress as information, not threat. For example, instead of "I'm overwhelmed," try "My system is signaling what needs attention." This shift reduces emotional reactivity and keeps the nervous system regulated. Mindset is the lens, routines are the tools.
And what about setbacks? Life isn't predictable. How do we bounce back when stress spikes?
Resilience includes recovery rituals. Sleep, intentional breaks, gratitude reflections, and micro goals all restore energy and confidence. Expecting setbacks and planning recovery prevents temporary stress from becoming chronic. Think of it as having an emergency fund for your mental energy.
So resilience isn't about avoiding stress, it's about recovering faster.
Exactly. The goal isn't zero stress, it's sustainable, regulated stress levels.
How important is social support in long-term stress management?
Critical. Trusted friends, colleagues, mentors, or family act as buffers. Sharing concerns, brainstorming solutions, or even just feeling heard reduces perceived stress. Humans are social creatures. Connection literally lowers cortisol and stabilizes mood.
Lila, what about lifestyle factors like diet and exercise? Are they really long-term game changers?
Absolutely. Regular movement reduces cortisol and enhances endorphins. Balanced nutrition stabilizes blood sugar, preventing energy crashes that amplify stress. Sleep hygiene restores both mental and emotional regulation. These foundational habits create a body that withstands mental pressures more effectively.
So resilience is not just mental, it's holistic, involving mind, body, and social context.
Exactly. Stress doesn't happen in isolation. Your response is shaped by everything from muscle tension to friendships. Address all dimensions for lasting results.
Can routines themselves become a source of stress if we're too rigid?
Yes, flexibility is part of resilience. Routines provide structure, but life will always present the unexpected. Build adaptability into your plan. Adjust timing, swap tasks, or scale expectations without judgment. Rigidity creates pressure, flexibility fosters resilience.
Lila, for listeners ready to commit to long-term stress resilience, what's the first action today?
Start a resilience map. Write down 1. Daily micro practices, 5 to 10 minutes, to monitor stress. 2. Recovery rituals for when stress spikes. 3. Social support actions, who to check in with, how often. 4. Physical routines, exercise, sleep, nutrition. This map gives a bird's-eye view of your stress landscape and a plan to navigate it. Following it consistently trains your nervous system to respond, not react.
This is the final chapter, dear listeners. After everything we've covered, how should listeners start tying all these stress management tools together?
Think of it as a daily stress toolkit. Each tool, awareness, categorization, micro actions, routines, mindset shifts, is like a brushstroke. By itself, it helps a little. Combined, it creates a clear picture of control. Begin by selecting 2 or 3 tools today. Don't overwhelm yourself. Master a few, then layer more gradually.
So slow layering is better than trying everything at once?
Exactly. Stress management is cumulative. One small habit repeated consistently beats a dozen half-hearted attempts. The key is consistency, reflection, and adaptation.
Hold a second, so it's quality over quantity in tools?
Absolutely. Think of each tool as a piece of armor. One solid piece is stronger than many thin, flimsy pieces.
How should listeners measure progress? Stress isn't always visible.
Track not just outcomes, but reactions. Ask, am I noticing stress earlier? Am I reacting differently? Am I recovering faster? Journaling once a day, even for 5 minutes, reveals patterns over time. This reflection becomes feedback, showing what works and what needs adjustment.
What about setbacks? If someone slips back into old habits, is that failure?
Not at all. Setbacks are part of learning. Think of them as stress diagnostics. They show you where systems need reinforcement. The goal isn't perfection, it's building adaptive responses. Each slip is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience.
So mistakes are actually valuable feedback?
Exactly. Treat them as lessons, not proof of inadequacy.
What about mental reframes that help cement these habits long term?
Yes. Instead of I'm stressed again, try my system is signaling growth opportunities. Stress becomes a guide, not an enemy. Each time you apply a tool successfully, reinforce the belief, I have strategies and I am capable. That confidence compounds over time.
And what about combining social support with personal routines?
Powerful. Share micro practices with friends or colleagues, check-ins, accountability, or joint activities. Social reinforcement makes habits stick and reduces isolation, which is a stress amplifier. Even brief shared reflection, how did your day feel, creates a buffer against escalation.
So resilience isn't just internal, it's also cultivated socially.
Exactly. Your environment shapes your stress response almost as much as your internal tools.
Layla, if a listener could only apply one big idea from all 5 chapters, what would it be?
Intentional response over automatic reaction. Whether it's a tight deadline, an argument, or a racing mind, pause, notice, categorize, choose an appropriate action. This single mindset shift changes how all other tools function. Everything else amplifies its effect.
Finally, how do we make this sustainable, not just a one-week experiment?
Integrate tools into identity, not just routines. Think, I am someone who notices stress early, responds wisely, and protects my energy. Pair this with small daily practices, journal, micro actions, social check-ins, and recovery rituals. Over weeks and months, resilience becomes automatic, not effortful.
Thanks, Layla, and thank you all for listening. And listeners, if today's episode has given you practical tools and insights, subscribe, leave a comment about your first stress action plan, and share this episode. Take one small step today. It's the beginning of real change.